Talk about it.
Definitely.
All right, what's good, y'all? It's your homie Big T.
And I'm Shay Renee.
And we got Miss Amy over here, our favorite white girl over there. And we didn't got our technical difficulty problems temporarily fixed. But we made it, y'all. It's the season 2 premiere of Mud Talk. Woo, woo, woo.
Hello.
Woo. We've been gone for a very long time. We've been gone for a few weeks. We took some time off to rejuvenate and work on some new things. So we are back in the building. So yes, it feels good. And we have a special guest in the building today. We have Miss Eunique Johnson in the building. We're gonna get to her in just a second. But we gotta review season one. Season 1 episodes were dope. What were some of your favorite season 1 episodes?
I would say mine was the Valentine's Day show with Miss Amy here. So
We're gonna see it.
it was fun. Very sensual.
Okay.
Listen, anytime you can talk about sex.
Okay.
Really is a good.
Sex.
Hey.
You know what? We just make that be the intro. Like the next time I do my like intimacy segment.
About sex.
No, let's
Oh, let's talk about sex.
Yes.
Oh.
You know that song, right?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
I don't know, Miss Amy.
I would say my favorite episode was probably with Rocky Dub. Rocky Dub was a whole vibe. He came in. I love that he was personal. His energy was great. I love the work that he's done with the Youth Commission and everything. So I love that, he was very passionate about hip hop, also very passionate about the kids. Y'all know I'm not about the kids. Big T love the kids. So, So yeah, man, shout out to everybody who's been listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and iHeartRadio, all of those platforms. A couple weeks ago, we charted on the Apple Podcast charts at number 117. So that was pretty dope. That was super, super dope. We came a long way because we started off at like 228. All right, so started from the bottom. Now we're here. Okay.
And we couldn't have done it without you guys. So thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Okay.
All of that. So make sure y'all tell your friends, tell your people, because we got a whole bunch coming up for Mud Talk. We're doing a lot more episodes this season. We got some new segments coming up on the show that we're going to debut today. So yeah, man, it's definitely about to be a vibe. So, but before we do any of that, y'all know I got to keep y'all plugged in with the news about what's going on. The city of Maumee announced Friday a police sergeant was placed on administrative leave hours after WTOL reported that his name appeared on the Oath Keepers membership list, which I know is a white supremacist group. According to a news release from Mayor Rich Carr, Sergeant Greg Westrick was placed on leave Thursday and would not be working during that time. They had a quote that said, to ensure transparency, Maumee will have an outside agency fully investigate this matter and make recommendations to the city of Maumee. So, yeah, man.
That's deep.
It's very deep. I'm not very surprised that we have white supremacists in the police force. It's usually how they do the things that they do. So, but shout out to the city of Maumee for taking action on that very quickly and swiftly.
Speaking of, I also heard the same officer who harassed O'Shea Jones also killed a Black woman back in 2009, Miss Hicks.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
So that,
That's deep.
very deep.
Yes. So I'm so glad that, in this day and age, the police are taking this much more seriously and getting these people out of here, doing their investigations. Just because, before then, there wasn't a lot of transparency to start off. And then also, too, there wasn't any accountability that was being taken. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to see that the, sergeants and chiefs and all of those people are holding these officers accountable, hopefully getting them off the streets.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm glad that they did something about it. They didn't just say, oh, well, I'm just going to try to hide it, keep it secret. They publicized it and said, this is what's happened. We've taken care of it.
Yeah.
It's a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in the Black community, when it comes to police officer, we hate to hear the words administrative leave.
Right.
Paid administrative leave at that too. It usually means you're gonna get to come back to work in
right
2 weeks. So there's that. All right. And other news, starting next year, undergrads at Princeton University will get a full ride for financial aid if their families make less than $100,000 annually. I know, right? The Ivy League school announced the expansion of its financial aid program on Thursday. Under the current rules, most families making less than $65,000 a year pay nothing for undergraduate students' tuition, room, and board. Those costs are paid for by grants instead of loans and don't need to be repaid. One of Princeton's defining values for what they said is that our commitment is to ensure that talented students from all backgrounds can not only afford a Princeton education, but can flourish on our campus and in the world beyond it. And that came from President Christopher L. Ice Rubber, who was the president over at Princeton. So
I love that.
Love it. Shout out to those people at Princeton, man. Let me send my child to Princeton.
And an Ivy League.
Ivy League at that.
I think it'll open doors for more opportunity for underprivileged people. So
Absolutely.
that's great.
Well, hopefully I can send my son to prison. So Marquise, if you're watching, boy, pack your bags because you about to go to prison.
Same for my daughter. She want to be a lawyer. Go ahead, sis.
All right. In other news, this is good news actually. And it's right here in Northwest Ohio. This show, I don't know if you ever heard of it, it's called America's Best Restaurants. Is going to make a stop here in Northwest Ohio on September 23rd to feature a local restaurant on their road show. They are going to, so they've come here before. They paid visit to Black Rock Bar and Grill, Franklin Park Mall. But in a few weeks, they are going to make a stop in White House, Ohio at the White House Inn restaurant. They're going to try popular dishes from the Lucas County-based restaurant, and it will feature the owner, Tony Frank, who will explain in an on-camera interview the importance of the restaurant. The filming will take place at 9 a.m. and will run until about noon. So they're going to try foods on camera. He's going to tell you all about it.
Maybe we can get in on that.
Listen, the best French onion soup, and they give you little scissors to cut it, like to cut all the cheese that they put on top to go in the soup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And prime rib is amazing too. And they always have a prime rib special. I don't remember what day of the week it is, but if you want to try it, go try it. It's good.
Okay. I've never been in before, but you know what? I've seen it before because I used to work out in White House during COVID and get a second job and whatnot. And I would drive by it all the time. It looks like an actual hotel, but I've never been in it before.
Yeah. And they have really good margaritas. I don't drink margaritas, but if you are a margarita drinker, I've been told they're pretty good, pretty strong.
All right. Well,
we should make a field trip, I feel like.
We should. We probably should tap in with them on the 23rd of September.
I feel like.
Yeah, I love me a good margarita.
All right. Well, that was keeping you plugged in with the news. And you know right here on Mud Talk, we keep our ears to the streets.
While you grind in the 419.
All right. So speaking of the 419, we do have our guest here today. We have entrepreneur, we have author. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. That's why you got to slow me down, girl.
I know.
Oh,
I know. Yeah, I told them it's that great.
I was looking at my notes. Yes,
Good.
I was looking at my notes. All right. So Miss Amy does have a very special announcement.
Serious.
It's
like
a very
serious
serious announcement. Yes, a very serious topic.
This week, so September 4th through the 10th, is actually National Suicide Prevention Week. And I know a lot of times when you see me, I am often not very serious, but outside of here, I do mental health for my profession. And I think it's important to recognize and understand some of the things that surround suicide and suicide prevention. In July, we have a new crisis line that is a national line. It is replacing the suicide prevention hotline. And anybody that needs help can text or call 24/7 988. So you just dial 988. You can text 988, or you can go online and just search 988, and it will take you up to the online platform that you need. And on there, you can get 24/7 crisis counseling support. You can get resources. They can connect you with resources, and it is with trained counselors. So there are people there to support people. So I wanted to mention that, but also on Suicide Prevention Week, I think it's important to talk to those of you who may have been thinking about or have maybe been feeling overwhelmed or depressed, that just to know that you're not alone, and there definitely is hope out there. I encourage you to reach out and get that support. I know that's the toughest step. As somebody who has had those experiences, those thoughts in my past, and I work with people on a daily basis, it is important to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Although I know for a fact you're sitting here thinking, no, there's not. Please reach out, get the help that you need. And if you are somebody who has a loved one who you are concerned about, first of all, check on your people.
Absolutely.
Check on your people. And when they tell you, listen to them, and non-judgmentally, just hear what they have to say and make sure that they are doing what they need to do to get the help. And if they can't get the help that they need, then maybe connect them with the resources. That 988 number is also for those of you that have loved ones that need support or resources when it comes to suicide prevention. And one of the most important things that you can do is just to let people know that they're not alone, and that you are there to support them. Mental health is real and it's serious. And that is probably one of the best things you can do, is just to validate that the mental health is real. Absolutely.
And we do have that information scrolling down at the bottom of the screen. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or depressed or experiencing thoughts of suicide, please text that number. It's 9888, and you can connect with the counselor who can help.
And I just want to say, when she say check on your people, don't just call, don't just text, pull up. Sometimes people need that face-to-face interaction, and sometimes they need that hug, that, whatever. Don't just call and, oh, I did my job. No, sometimes you have to show up for your people.
And honestly, it's okay to ask the question. It's okay to ask your loved one, are you thinking of hurting or killing yourself? And I get this question all the time from people. They'll say, well, if I say that, isn't that going to encourage them to want to do that? And what I like to say is no. What it does is it tells them that you're open to the fact that this could be a serious concern that they're having, and that you're open to hearing what they have going on.
Right.
So ask the question. Not asking the question and brushing it under the rug actually can make somebody feel very isolated.
Because they may not be comfortable enough to talk about it. So you're opening that door.
Yeah.
So yes, I definitely agree with that.
I will always and forever ask my people, that question. And then from that point on, I always tell them, if I say, are you safe? That's what I mean. And when I call my people, and if they're saying they're having a rough day, I'm depressed, I've been having thoughts of suicide, my very first question is, are you safe? And they know what I mean because I tell them that. And then if the answer is no, then we figure it out.
Yes. And we've seen a rise in depression and anxiety since COVID and post-COVID and all of that stuff. So it's so important that those resources are out there and are available to you. Like I said, it's simply a text that you can send. 988 is the number that you can use to connect with a counselor who can help. And like Ms. Shay said, pull up on your people, pull up, text, call, do something. You never know. Those little words of, are you okay, can save someone's life. So please check on your people. And if you feel like you need help, don't feel afraid to ask for help. There's so many resources out there. We are been talking very big on mental health and therapy and counseling here on the show. So we are always saying, you can always inbox us at Mud Talk too, man. If you ever need us here at Mud Talk, we are the people that you can tap into, call, text. We will come.
And the fact of the matter is that we care. And there are people out there that definitely care, even though it may not feel like it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Miss Amy, for those resources. We appreciate you. Now, we do have a very special guest here on the show. She is an entrepreneur. She is an author, and she is a domestic violence prevention advocate. We have Miss Eunique Johnson in the building. What's good, Miss Eunique?
Hello.
Thank you for bearing with us through our technical difficulties. We are here. We made it for the season 2 premiere. How are you feeling today?
I'm good.
That's what's up. So before we get into anything else, tell us a little bit about you.
So I am Eunique Johnson, the survivor's coach. And when I say survivor, it doesn't mean domestic violence. It means trauma, domestic violence, life. I survived. I got 3 daughters. I'm married, author, entrepreneur, work, all around.
That's what's up. Now, we are here to talk about your book called My Unique Journey. How was this process for you when you were writing this book? Because you wrote it during the pandemic, right?
Right, but I didn't write it.
Okay.
So started with giving my life back to God. And in that journey, I was told to write a book. And I was given 9 days, and actually I completed my book in 7.
Oh, wow.
But like I said, I didn't write it. The Holy Spirit wrote it. Like I literally sat in front of my computer, prayed, and just went. So I can't tell you what's all in the book. I know what I lived. But far as like, oh yeah, you said I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go back and read nothing.
Okay.
I didn't go edit it. The publisher edited it. I didn't touch it.
Okay.
I left it the way it was. And actually, book 2 will be done. It's actually in the editing process right now.
Oh, okay. So what inspired you to write your book, My Unique Journey?
It was actually it was like more so therapy for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was my healing.
Okay.
Some things that I felt that I was over, I really wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more so to bring awareness and put out there my story. Everybody has a story.
Absolutely. So what are some of the topics or things that you discussed in your book?
My whole life is an open book. From dealing with racism, from being a drug dealer, from domestic violence, from family, my mom dying in my arms at the age of 22, to me having my daughter who was born dead, like everything. I'm an open book.
Wow. And that's deep. And I'm so glad because brought us a book too. So, you know, if you haven't gotten this book, please make sure you do. It's called My Unique Journey. When she brought it in, we wanted to read it like as soon as she brought it in. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of glad we have no technical difficulties, because let me start with chapter 1. But no, that is so crazy that, you know, for you that was therapeutic, and for a lot of people, you know, writing is that therapy. So when you wrote this book and it was, you know, it got released, what was kind of like the reception that you got from it?
A lot of people already was, you know, Toledo nosy. Just be real, like they nosy. So they like, oh, she wrote a book. I wonder who is she talking about? Who she? Yeah. People ask like, who is it? I plead the fifth. I can't tell you who nobody else is. I'm pretty sure once you read it, you can figure out who somebody is. But I plead the fifth. I did get like a couple backlash, like, oh, you was telling you was talking about me. You weren't telling your business. Well, you was a part of my life. So that's what happened.
Okay.
But my story is my story. That's what I lived.
Absolutely. And nobody else can write your story but you, right?
But me.
That's what's up. Well, we are going to do a quick little transition. We're going to come back with you because we're not done with you. But we have a little segment here on the show called Tips with Tea. So we've taken a break for a minute. I promise I'm going to be good this time, y'all, because last time Miss Shade told me we was going to need security in the building. So we're going to be good this
We hiring for security.
Our-
I can control this one right here.
I'm gonna be good this season, y'all. I promise y'all, I'm gonna be good. So this week with Tips with Tea, I'm talking about 5 things on what not to do when you get into somebody's DMs.
Yes. Please listen. You are a DM slider. I need you to listen right now.
Please listen, because and I actually I asked women for, you know, some tips and facts of what not to do. Kind of just put it together. So here we go. So tip number 1. If they don't respond, keep it moving. No means no, okay? So if they text you and say, good morning, beautiful, and they leave you on red, that don't mean to come back the next day and say, good morning, beautiful. Then the next day say, good afternoon, beautiful. Leave that woman alone, okay? No means no.
And don't get mad. And after you blow them up, and then when they don't respond, start going off and calling them names. No, I'm talking about when you would, oh, you do?
Hold on. I got you.
Oh, okay. All right.
Tip number 2. Stop asking them what you're doing all the time. It's annoying and you will get blocked quick, okay? Don't be saying, what you doing? Pull up on me. Can you come see me? Stop doing that. It's annoying. Women don't like that and they will block you very quickly, all right? Tip number 3.
There it is.
If you're rejected, don't be a jerk about it. Bow out gracefully and keep it moving. It's okay to be rejected. You know what? It's kind of like Baskin Robbins. It's 32 flavors. If you don't like chocolate, move on to vanilla. You don't like vanilla, move on to cookies and cream, okay? You are not everybody's flavor. So please keep it moving.
And we know you already slid into 40 DMs anyways. So keep going.
So it's 32 flavors. You didn't already try to slide in 27 of them. Okay, so
Give them a Sprite. Quench your thirst.
all right.
I actually did that one time.
Did you?
Yeah. So this guy I was dating, and it was this girl, you know, I knew her. So long story short, basically he was trying to play like, oh, he wasn't talking to her. So I came over her house and came out the closet, go, yo, Sprite, you pretty thirsty, my brother.
Well then, all right. You keep Sprite on deck. All right. Tip number 4. Oh, this is a big one. I should have made this number 5, but I made this number 4. Stop sliding people's DMs if you are in a relationship, married, or even a situationship. Yeah. Even if you still messing around with your baby mama, your baby daddy. Stop sliding people's DMs if you are committed, okay? I've been saying for some reason in 22, married seems to be the new single. And I don't understand why that is. But stop sliding people's DMs if you are in a relationship, married, or a situationship. And if you know they are committed too.
And don't lie about it.
Yeah, be upfront. Because let's be honest. There are some people who are completely okay with being a side piece, being a side chick, but you just need to make your intentions known and say, look, I am married. I am in a situationship where case may be. Are you okay with that? Don't be out here bamboozling people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That can cause a whole lot of drama.
Or are you in a relationship? And then the next follow-up should not be, is it a happy one?
Is it happy?
Because that is always the next one.
Well, that's you praying on my downfall.
Yes.
That's what I gotta say. All right, and the last tip: Do not send unwanted pictures. Starting off the conversation with something unwanted and sexual is a great way to turn somebody off. So, fellas, stop sending them dick pics, and ladies, stop sending them coochie shots. Well, no, dudes might like coochie shots, so no.
Yeah, it could be a one-way situation.
It's one-way situation.
Nobody wants to see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
dick pic.
fellas, stop sending
That's the
those.
quickest way to get blocked.
Yep.
Yeah, stop sending those unwanted dick pics and videos and everything else. That would get you blocked real quick, and
Or just put all over the internet, made fun of for a long time.
that too.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was my tips for tea, and that was 5 things on what not to do in somebody's DMs. There you go.
My name is Shay, and I approve this message.
Right.
I'm endorsing him right now.
Right.
Thank you. All right, so Miss Eunique. So we know that, well, this week we are addressing domestic violence on our show. With your book and being that it was therapeutic, how did it feel to get some of those struggles that you went through off your chest?
It was a healing. It healed. It helped me heal a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Book 2 talks more so about the healing.
Okay.
Book 2, I had to revisit, do some apologizing, put my big girl panties on, and look at me.
Right.
Look at me. But it was more so like I needed to address the younger ones, because I honestly didn't feel like I was in a domestic violence relationship. I just felt like I was fighting my baby daddy. We just got into fights. It wasn't until I was literally, after I wrote my book, actually, a lady said, "Oh, so you were a survivor. You're a domestic violence survivor." And I said, "What?" And I was like, you know what? Yes, I am. But I didn't look at it like that. I mean, I was just, me and my baby daddy got into fights.
Right. So what do you have to say, to those young women or women who, like you said, who don't feel like they were in domestic violence situation? They feel like they were just in a relationship, whatever the case may be. What do you have to say to those women who are in those situations?
So first of all, you have to pay attention to the flags. We ignore them a whole lot.
Oh yeah.
We ignore the yellow flags. That's warning us.
It's a little pinkish.
And then it comes to the red. But my situation started with me first. I hit below the belt because us as women, we know our mouth can be,
Right.
we could take you all the way there. And it started with me and my mouth, because I used to see my aunt beat up on her boyfriend. So I wasn't scared. I was like, I'm gonna say what I want to say. And it went from there, but it was red flags that happened that I never paid attention to until now that I'm older. I'm like, oh, I should have been. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you made excuses? The reason why you stayed, like, took blame for things that really weren't your fault?
No, I don't feel like I made excuses, or it was more so I wasn't never scared of him, so I didn't really pay him no attention. Everyone else around me was scared, like, he gonna kill you, he gonna do this, and I'm like, no, he's not. He ain't gonna do nothing. Like, he not gonna do nothing. Okay, we got into a fight. He looked like he got into a fight. I looked like I got into a fight. He bust out some windows. I bust out some windows. Like, it wasn't until one day, nobody was at my house. My car was in the shop, and he would always break into our house, but we never heard him. And we would just wake up in the morning and come downstairs, and he'll be like by the heater, sleep. So we didn't think nothing. Well, this day, nobody was home. My kids were gone. My car was in the shop, and I was home by myself. And I heard boom. So I immediately locked the door and slid up underneath the bed. So as I'm up underneath the bed, I'm talking to 911 on the phone, because in my head, I'm like, oh my God, somebody just then broke into my house. I know my car ain't here. They probably think I'm not here because my car ain't here. So I'm on the phone and I'm talking to them, and I'm like, is somebody out there? It's snow. So like the snow was deep. I'm like, is somebody out there? I could hear them walking around. I could actually hear the person walking like downstairs through the house, opening up the cabinets, like coming. I'm like, they coming up the stairs, and you could hear me praying, like on the 911 call. You could hear me praying, and I heard my daughter's door jingle. I'm like, oh my God. And so my door jiggle, and I'm like, they at the door. Well, in that time, like I'm talking to 911 under the bed, they had sent a crew out. So it was a police officer running around my house. I didn't notice because I'm under the bed, but it was a police officer that was circling my house. And so he happened to flash the light on the window, and he seen the light. So he kicked my door in, was like, Eunique, you called the police? And I'm like, it's you. And so I slammed the phone I had a slide phone. So I slid my phone. And when I slid my phone, the police came in and kicked my door in. Well, at that time, his face, his eyes was like bucked out his head. He was foaming at the mouth. He was sweating profusely, and he pulled out a gun. And he was like, if you tell him I'm here, I'm gonna kill you and me. And I knew I was dead that day. That was the first time ever in my life I was scared. And I was like, he up there, he got a gun. And so he took off running down the hallway, went to the bathroom, threw something in the toilet, threw the gun up in my daughter's room. And they ended up arresting me. And I'm sitting on my steps talking to the police, and he's in the police car in handcuffs, and my cell phone is ringing, and he's calling me from the police car.
Wow.
And then I'm like, this is him calling me. So they end up taking his phone. But just maybe 2 weeks ago, we finally had that conversation. And what actually took place and what he thought took place was two different things.
Wow.
Because he was gone off of pills. So, yeah.
Wow.
That was the only time that I ever in my life was scared of. I was never scared. But a couple of days prior to that, he had went like, it was like a week binge of him just destroying stuff, tearing stuff. And we had got into it, and my daughter had jumped on his back, and there was a window, and he was shaking like this, and all I could see was my daughter going out the window. So I grabbed the lamp to hit him with the lamp, and when I went to hit him with the lamp, he put his black and mild out on me, so I have a burn mark on me. But this is the thing with that. He did go to jail, and I ended up writing a parole board for him to get out. As the age I am now, we was young, trying to be parents, trying to be grown, mimicking what he grew up in. So, like, where I'm at now and me reevaluating everything, he's not like, so many people is bashing him like, oh, I read her book, but he's not that. He wasn't a bad person, basically. He wasn't a bad person. He just got bad blood. Sorry. His grandfather, his father, it's just a generational curse that nobody has broken yet.
It's a cycle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That nobody has broken yet.
Now, what were some, so you talk about red flags. What were some of the red flags that you saw?
So while I was in the relationship, I didn't see them. But now, as I reevaluate the relationship, he was very jealous of me. And that's one of the biggest things. Like, no man should be jealous of a woman. If I went and bought a coat, he went and bought two. If I went and bought a car, he went and bought two. Like, we're not in competition. That was one big thing. Another big thing was like very controlling. No privacy. I always want to go through your phone. I always want to know where you're at, what you're doing. And on top of just like it's called gaslighting. Like, I know I ain't crazy. I know you just was with that girl. Like, I ain't lose my mind. Right. But you might want to make me feel like I ain't see what I seen.
Right.
So now as I'm older and I know these things, but while I was in it, I didn't know. I mean, you got to realize we started at 16.
Were you around you pointing out some of those red flags?
So my mother did, because although I wasn't in the home when domestic violence was going with my mom, she experienced with my father everything that I was experiencing with him.
Mm.
So my mom and his grandmother told me to get away from him
Oh, wow.
because she experienced it with his grandfather.
Mm. So your family and his family knew each other.
So he met my mother first.
Okay.
Because my mother used to do t-shirts and stuff. So
Mhm.
he met my mother first. At the time, I was dating someone else. And he met my mom. And so he was trying to basically get to know me through my mother. But I honestly really did not like him. He was very childish to me.
Mhm.
And the guy I was dating ended up going to jail. And just so happened we end up being at a club at the same time. And yeah, and now here we are with a 25-year-old and a granddaughter.
Now, with that, with your book, it also started your nonprofit organization, which is called
Uniquely unique.
Uniquely Unique, right?
Yeah.
There we go. I had to get it. It's like a tongue twister. Okay. So with that, what exactly is Uniquely Unique?
So what I do is I go to like shelters. I'm trying to get into the schools where I go speak. Young girls. We do have an event coming up on September the 25th.
Okay.
For mothers and daughters, we got some people speaking about finances, domestic violence, mental health.
Mm-hmm.
So just trying to get people to know, like, not so much people, more so teens.
Absolutely.
Because, like I said, I thought I was just fighting my baby daddy. And it's bigger than that. It's even bigger with little kids. Like I got a 12-year-old, and sometimes we tell them, "Oh, he just hitting you because he like you."
Mm-hmm.
But is that the start of a cycle?
Right. Right.
Or that it just sounds normal. Like it's normalized. Like that's
Right.
okay. It's not.
Right. Or the girl calling him all out of his name.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a trigger for men. So just basically getting it out there, like what to look for. Like your mate should never be jealous of you.
Absolutely.
And that was one of the biggest things that I never really paid attention to. I knew it,
Mm-hmm.
but I just never really paid attention to it.
Right.
I just used to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna up you one.
Yeah.
I know. I work with mental health, and I work with teenagers, and I can say you said the controlling. Where yeah, a lot of them will tell me, I know they do that because they love me.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that they care about me, and I have to kind of say no. That's not okay. That's not healthy. The controlling is it's controlling, and that's very 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 hard to understand.
Right. So what was the moment that made you decide, like, this is enough, it's time for me to go?
That night. Yeah. It basically saved me because it got him away from me. For me able to move on. Let me back up, because we were broke up for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up going to prison, and I ended up taking my daughter to go visit him. And my daughter just was happy. Like, I got my parents, and we never was enemies. Like, we was friends, we could talk. Like, I knew the other side of him.
Right.
And one thing led to another, and we ended up dating again. And then he came home and he started showing all the same things that he was doing before. And I was like, yep, okay, nope, that's enough. I'm done. And then the craziness started. And then he went back to prison.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with that, for any young lady or young woman who's in that situation, what would be some advice to give them to teach them to get out of that situation? What can they do?
First and foremost, don't ever allow anyone to separate you from your family. Mm-hmm. That is one of the biggest things that I was him, his family. No, at the end of the day, they're going to ride with their people.
Right.
They're going to ride with their people. It's just that simple. They're going to ride with their people. So always have your family. And like a lot of mine was just thirsting for that male figure because my dad wasn't around. So it was just thirsting for that male figure. But no, get away, get family, get everybody involved. But because some people say, well, she ain't gonna do nothing but go back. So what? So what? Like, I've been on both sides. I've had a cousin who was murdered by her husband. I have a cousin who murdered his wife. Both first cousins. And I'm here. So that was one of my reasons of I have a bigger purpose.
Right.
Because I could have been either one of them, but I'm still here. So
Absolutely. In domestic violence, I take very serious for a couple of reasons. One, I grew up seeing domestic violence with my parents. I remember waking up one morning and seeing my mom and dad going at it to the point my mom was choking my dad to get off her to the point where he was coughing up blood. And I want to say around like 10 years old, she finally was just like, yeah, it's a wrap. And she has a scar right here actually from them getting into it. The second reason is I actually lost a best friend to domestic violence. Her name was CJ Bell. So I met her working at Wayne Palmer. And she was dating some dudes, whatever. The next year I know working at Imagine, I got a phone call that was like, yo, like, did you ever happen to CJ? And I was like, no, like, what's wrong? It's like, man, she gone, man. I was like, what are you talking about? Her and her boyfriend got into it and she was ready to leave and he decided to take her life. And she was 19 years old when it happened. So that to me was like, yeah, no, like, especially to go through that as a kid at 19, that was a lot. And so that's why with the Impact program, we speak so much about domestic violence and healthy relationships, and positive relationships, because if you can recognize the signs when you're younger, it'd be so much more easier when you become older. So,
and a lot of younger girls feel like because they have a kid by this person, they get that, oh, I want that White House picket fence husband.
right.
And if it ain't working, it ain't working.
Absolutely.
And I would say get out early so that it doesn't affect the child. Because just as I said, I went back after he got out of jail, 7 years, I went back and just probably maybe a month ago, I had a conversation with my daughter and she said I was miserable. I just act like I liked it because I thought you was happy, and here I'm dealing with it because I thought she was happy. And both of us was prisoners in our home.
Wow.
So, and it affect both of my kids a lot. Like, my kids have their own place and they still sleep with their bedroom door locked. I did for the longest, even with my husband. When my husband, like, my husband used to have to hold me at night because I would jump. Every little noise I heard, I was jumping, like, okay, somebody coming in the window.
Right.
PTSD.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
When you got your new relationship with your husband, how did that go with like the trust and being able to trust again? And
It's so funny because my husband and I dated in high school.
oh,
And we went our separate way and reconnected via Facebook.
so it was a little easier.
And we did an out-of-town relationship for a whole year.
Mm.
Yeah, he was in Texas and I was here for a whole year, but we been married 10 years.
Wow.
So now how did he feel about that? No, has he read the book?
No.
Okay.
He don't want to read it. He said he don't need to know.
That makes sense. All right. Well,
I feel like a lot of women don't realize too that once a man who is abusive realizes he can no longer hurt you with the things he do, he will try to hurt your children. So it's best to get out of those situations early, like before the hurt begins, like you said, affects your children, and like you didn't know your daughter was suffering from those situations as well.
Yeah.
Until y'all talked about it. And that's another thing, like the communication has to be there.
And sometimes, we model what we see. We model what we see. Both of my daughters are of age, they date, and I've seen like, nope, you need to get away from him.
right.
Nope, that's not love. Nope, it ain't cute. It's time to go. Yeah, it's time to cut that one off.
Yeah.
No,
I too grew up around domestic violence, and as I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it, every serious relationship I've been in, I've dealt with domestic violence. So you have to be an example for your kids. Otherwise, they're gonna think it's okay.
That was one of my reasons of leaving too. Like, my kids was of age to know what was going on.
Right.
And no, this is not how a relationship is supposed to be.
Absolutely.
But they have with my husband is awesome. So
Shout out to Sonya. Sonya's dope.
they have what they know how you're supposed to be treated. And a lot of that comes with your own self-love.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that comes with your with your own self-love.
Yes.
It definitely takes that. It takes for you to start your healing process.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, it does.
The generational curses of your family. I'm a product of domestic violence. My mom was young. It's 21 years between my mom and dad. So it's more like you're the dad.
Yeah.
And
Right. And
it was extreme, like set the apartment on fire with us both in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some people will say, oh no, she was crazy too. I was not crazy, but he brought crazy out of me.
Yeah.
I have done crazy things. Like I have put up and the girl was in the car and I'm like, okay, you don't want to get out. Okay, well, I'm gonna drive the car, and I drove the car and put it in my aunt's backyard and got the hammer and bust out all the windows, and yeah.
Sometimes enough is
I
enough.
wasn't crazy, but you brought crazy out of me. Like,
Right.
Don't play victim to circumstances you created.
right.
If you know you're not doing right, you got a girl in the car, we supposed to be in this relationship or whatever the case may be. No, you can't play victim to circumstances you created and then get mad how I react.
That's all the line between love and hate. It's hot playing. That's how you get your windows busted out with a brick.
I never busted somebody's windows.
I'm not a saint at all. I did my fair share. Trust me, I did my fair share. I'm not a saint at all. But too, when you live in the street life also, I mean, his models that he had was not models.
Right.
And it's everybody being an adult accepting the fact that I didn't have good role models. Because one thing for me, I don't even play with a cuss word. Like, don't even play with me like that. But my mom went through it to make sure that I didn't go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So she learned and my dad learned, and they were, by the time I was 6, they was best friends. But guess what? The first few years, just before I was born and right when I was born, it was hell on wheels. She left him. She became strong enough to leave him, but then got into some more relationships they was busting out all the car windows. And guess what? I'm calling my dad. They bust out all the car windows I know you ain't accepting that. Because guess what he did? He empowered her.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't accept it from me, so you definitely not.
And you know what? I did. It was crazy because I did not take it from nobody else. I refused to.
My mom don't play that. If you call my mama the cuss word, baby, she's like, today, drop the keys right there, pack your things, it's time to go.
Yeah, I didn't take that from nobody else at all.
Right. Now, what are some resources that are available to those who may be in domestic violence situations?
You always got the you would ask me that, but I don't got the number. The domestic violence hotline.
I got it. I sent it to you.
Yes.
I got you here. Wait, hold on.
The domestic violence hotline. You got the Better Women's Shelter,
Mm-hmm.
the one that's downtown.
Okay.
And then you have the Indiana shelter also. They deal with domestic violence women. Pretty much all of the shelters do.
Yep.
Right.
Beach house.
Beach house, yeah.
Beach
pretty
House
much.
YWCA.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of them.
So nationally, because we do have a national audience, there's people around.
Yes.
It is a
Oh,
national
yeah.
hotline. So if you're national or local, it is the domestic violence hotline that you can reach. You can text the word START, START, to 8788. The phone number is 1-800-799-SAFE or 7233. And if all that's real hard to remember, thehotline.org.
Yes.
That's their website.
Yes. And we'll make sure that after we do this podcast, we'll re-upload it and we'll also put that information on our Mud Talk Facebook page and all of our social media platforms. All right. Well, we got to transition real quick, but we're going to get our spirits lifted up, you know what I'm saying? Because we have our Mud Artist of the Week, and what better way to lift our spirits up? We have gospel artist Nelly Cristo. She actually reached out to me and was like, hey, I have this gospel song that I really want to hear. I want you guys to hear. I think it would be super dope. And I was like, let me listen to it. And it definitely got my spirits up. And we said to the team, we were like, we gotta play it on the show. Yeah. So shout out to Miss Nelly Cristo, who is our Mud Artist of the Week. And this is her new song called He's Been Good to Me. We're about to go to church. We'll be back, and when we come back, Miss Shay is
achieve it. Time to go and retrieve it. Lift my hands and receive it, yeah. Whoa. Cause I just won't give up or throw in the towel. The way things are looking, ain't no stopping me now. Ooh. I may mess up, times will get rough, but I'm built God tough. Cause I'm covered under His precious blood. When you see me, you can believe His love won't leave. I'm a living testimony. Living testimony. I don't know about you, but He's been good to me. And He saved my soul, and He set me free. That He was finished, no. His love is unconditional. Whoa. Unconditional, unconditional. God, your love. Unconditional, unconditional. God, your love. Unconditional, unconditional. God, your love. God, you just keep on.
All right, what's good, y'all? That was our Mud Artist of the Week. Sorry. Thank you. Gospel. That was our Mud Artist of the Week, man. Gospel artist Nelly Crystal with her new song, He's Been Good to Me. Definitely lifting up our spirits. You can go ahead and check that out on all of the social media platforms, man. That was a vibe. I like that.
I love that song.
Yes, when she sent it to me, I just wanted to go get baptized for the third time.
Oh my God. Oh, well, no, you know what you mean? Yep, it'll be my third also.
There we go.
I did when I was a kid, and then, you know, when you know what you're supposed to do, I did again. Yeah.
You heard what she said on Color Purple? Say, send us that soul today.
Right.
All right. Well, we always have our guests play a game on our show. It's called This or That. So Miss Shay got some hot questions for you that she's going to ask you for this or that.
All right. All right. FaceTime or call?
Call, text. Don't call, don't text,
Yes.
just text me.
Mm-hmm.
Beach or woods?
Beach, we black.
Hot chocolate or coffee?
Pepsi.
Still got caffeine.
Butter pecan or caramel delight?
Strawberry crunch.
Oh, excuse me. I'm right there with you because yes, I love it. Summer or fall?
Fall.
I'm so excited. Fall is coming.
I
I'm
cannot wait to
ready
get
for-
on.
I'm ready for Tim.
I got my throat
Listen.
ready.
Hoodies, hats.
Yes.
Sweating every time I walk anywhere.
Literally,
Yes.
okay?
I'm not about that. Still sweat a little bit because I like to walk fast. So, book or movie?
Where I am right now, book.
Okay. Right there with you. All right, sneaker or heel?
Definitely sneaker. I'm past the heel stage.
Well, that's all I had. So.
All right. Well, Miss Eunique, we appreciate you for coming to the show. How can people get in contact with you if they want you to come into the schools or talk to you, or just get in contact with you in general?
My Facebook is Eunique Johnson. I have Uniquely Unique Facebook page also, and Uniquely Unique website.
That's what's up. All right. Make sure y'all get the book, y'all. I'm gonna put it out and promote it. Okay.
It's actually on sale right now on the website.
How much?
10.
Okay. Look at that. Y'all better support
Mhm.
And
Black authors.
we have different sayings on our shirts.
Yes.
We
Can't see
got
what's it
different
saying.
shirts.
I can't see the
Love don't hurt.
love don't hurt.
Love don't hurt. Yes. And the book is called My Unique Journey. Support Black authors, please.
They're on sale too. Our t-shirts
Shirts are on sale.
too.
Shirts don't want to sell as well.
Just go
too.
visit the website.
Yes,
You
tickets
came
to
in.
our event is on there.
What was the name of that event again?
Daughters for Destiny Luncheon.
Yes.
Right.
That's coming up September the 25th for mothers and daughters, or a single mom. And we got another one coming up called Girl Talk on October the 8th for ages 13 and 17. No parents. We're just gonna vibe out with the girls.
I like that.
That's dope.
Kids are more prone to open up when they feel
When their
comfortable
parents are not
and-
around.
when parents
Yes.
aren't around.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you, Miss Eunique, for coming onto the show. We appreciate you, y'all. And so we have a new segment on the show that we're going to have you stick around for this to see how you feel about this stuff. So, so y'all have probably seen us on social media. We've been promoting our new segment called Ask the White Girl. And Ask the White Girl is where our favorite white girl, Miss Amy, she will answer any question that you have in regards to white people. Okay. So
Not just white girls though.
Yeah.
There's gonna be anything.
I said white people.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, white
A
people.
lot of them are very white girl directed though. I
Yes.
just want to share that out.
So we did some filming down at the Strictly R&B Jam a couple weeks ago, but before that, we had gotten some questions from some people. So I have some questions for you. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right. So question number 1. Hey, white girl, why do white girls like White Claw so much?
So here's the thing. I hate White Claws. I will not drink a White Claw. I think they taste disgusting. But I think what it is there's a lot of white girls that are very invested in diet culture. I think that there's a very specific body type that white girls want to have. And I think I don't know, but maybe White Claws are advertised as like low calorie. Is that, I don't know anybody that drink White Claws?
I mean, I drink Truly, but
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
a
right.
white
You do drink, well, I know.
girl.
We're definitely drinking the 20% of white girl the other day though.
I'm trying to save my high blood pressure.
Right, but I think that's what it is. It's like lower calories, so it's like we
Yes.
can drink more. I tried it one time. I think I had a whole 6-pack, and I was like, "This isn't. I don't feel anything. I don't even drink that much." So I really don't drink that much. They're just laughing because they think.
I promise we're not alcoholics on the show.
Not at all. But I don't. I think that I honestly think that's why. I think it's they want to keep a very fit physique, and they think it's lower calories. So they can drink more of them, and enjoy. They're disgusting. So
I think Weight Watchers did like if you just do regular shots, it's less calories. Like
It has less sugar.
yeah, it's just
right.
I learned that.
Take shots. Forget the White Claws.
Yes.
White girls.
I learned that tequila has the least amount of calories, and Tito's has the least amount of calories. But you have to do it as a shot. You can't just be mixing it. It has to be a shot.
Well, because you think about it, the juices add calories,
Everything, yeah.
pop is calories, all of that.
Making
And Diet
margaritas,
Pop
all of
does
that.
not help. It's worse.
And I feel like White Claw might even have some of that diet pop stuff in, like the fake sugary stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seltzer, I don't know. I don't see it. Clearly, I don't drink them, so I don't know.
All right.
But that's my answer.
All right. Question number 2. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it went from White Claw to
We
deep.
just
So here we go.
Going deep on this one. Hey, white girl, why do some white people want to say the N-word so badly?
So here's what I think. Obviously, there is the obvious reason that there are just some very racist people out there that feel like they need to say it to just be racist.
Mhm.
But what I actually think it is, more of the, I think white people hear a lot of it in culture. I think they hear a lot of it from maybe people they're around, friends, family members, just on songs. I mean, you can't pull up a modern day rap song without hearing the N-word.
Right.
And I think that for some reason, because it is so invested in culture,
Mhm.
just in general, that it seems to be something that could be acceptable. And I do know that a lot of people who are white that I've been around that have used those terms will say like, well, it's fine because like my friend said it's fine.
Mm.
And so I guess my answer is this. I'm just going to speak to the white people watching the show. This is not okay. Okay. I need to say this. This is not okay. I don't care if you have a friend. I don't care if you have 10 friends that are Black, that are brown. I don't care. I don't care if you are making babies with people who are Black or brown. I don't care if you are married to somebody who is Black or brown. I don't care if somebody looked at you and said, it's okay to say it. The answer is no. You are not allowed to say it. You are not allowed to rap it. If you are sitting in a car and the song comes on and the word is in the rap, you are not allowed to say it. Like, that is kind of me. I don't say a word. I love rap. I will rap. I'm not going to do it. And don't make me rap. But I like to rap. I will not say it.
Yes.
Like I will say it. If the word comes on, you will never hear me say it ever in my life. And that is not okay. So I don't care who you think told you it was okay. It's I am telling
No
you,
means no.
as the mud talk white girl.
Don't call your
No,
kids that. That is not
And
acceptable.
here's what
I don't care what color you are. Do not call your kids the N-word.
can I speak to my Black friends about this too? Stop telling white people it's okay. It's not.
Please do.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not okay. Like stop
It's
it.
definitely.
Because here, I will say this. I have a lot of friends, and some of my Black friends are like, I don't even care. Like it's fine with me if people that are white say it. And then I have other friends who are like, it's not okay at all. And so the problem is it might be okay with you, but it's not okay with other people.
You know what I also
stop
see a lot too? The reason why some white people have a bias, especially if a white person has grown up in the hood. Because in the hood, we don't see them as white. You've been around your whole life. So Justin Offenbacher down the street, we probably just call him Jay. And we never even looked at him as white. You know what I'm saying? And we might say, oh, Justin, that's my.
I can 100% say that I've had many of my Black friends say that to me and at me and about me. And I'm like, yeah, that's not working.
Yeah.
I don't care if you grew up in the hood. I'm gonna rewind that. It doesn't give you a pass. I don't care. It's not okay.
Justin,
Because I hear that a lot. Like that's my neighborhood, my friends. I don't care. You're not allowed to say it.
like you are Justin. We're not calling you Baby J or none of that. Because we're gonna call you
I mean,
Justin.
I'm okay with Baby J. That's different.
Baby J just can't say the N-word. You know?
But yes. So stop it. People that are white, stop saying it. And people that are Black, stop giving people permission to say it. It's just not okay.
There we go. All right. Question number 3. It's another deep one. Hey, white girl, why do white families disown their daughters when they date a Black guy?
So I'm actually gonna. So okay. My sister's husband. I know, right? They're getting deep. So my
I didn't
sister's.
ask the question. I
I
just
know,
wrote
these
them
are not our
down.
questions. So my sister's husband's Black. And I will say that my parents are some of the best people you'll ever meet. They're the most accepting, loving. They had a very difficult time when my sister said that she was moving to Florida with her boyfriend at the time, now her husband.
Mhm.
And it wasn't because my parents are racist. It truly wasn't. It was because my parents, it was nothing that they had grown up with. It's something that they had seen. They weren't sure that it was okay. And I don't know if I think there are people who are just flat out like that's not okay. Like it's racist. I think there is a religious reason. I think there are some religions out there that feel like it is not okay. So that could be part of it. I think in my family situation, it was unknown. It was something that they just didn't expect.
Mhm.
And I can say now, my sister and her husband have been married for 14 years. I have a niece, and they absolutely love my brother-in-law, my niece. There's no ill will or hard feelings. I think it was just an adjustment for them.
I think that might be kind of both ways though, because like some Black families.
Because you
come
can,
in.
yes.
coming in with
Yeah. And I was gonna say,
white boyfriend. or
right,
white
and-
girlfriend.
Bring that white girl up
right,
here.
and then
Okay,
reverse,
come
yeah.
on, they can't come
Yeah,
on.
in reverse, I will say it's much a harder adjustment.
My
for my
grandmother,
mom, too.
my
Yeah.
grandmother used to, they can't use your comb, they can't come home.
Oh, God.
My grandmother was like, if they can't use your comb, they can't come home. So I was like, oh.
Sometimes it's not more so like racial thing.
Yeah.
It's more so fearing for safety of your loved one, because you know it's some people who can't accept this relationship that will harm one party or the other on whichever end. And so as a parent, I do get, oh, where you're gonna face this,
Mhm.
obstacle, and you can't protect your kids in every situation.
Right.
So
Well, and I think, looking at that from a Black parent point of view, I can see the perception. I think from a
any parent,
white parent point of view, when you said harm, that to me goes back to when we talked about like the implicit biases we talked about the other day. Why are you looking at it as a harm situation?
Right.
And that's those implicit biases because you're looking at it strictly from a race point of view, and that's going to be a harm. I'm talking white families only, and and I think that's that implicit bias. Like, what is it about this person that thinks that they're going to harm your daughter, son,
not even that person, it's the
or
outside.
the outsider? Right,
Can't
right.
accept it, and you never know like who you may come across
Mhm.
like on the street, and somebody may, especially down south,
Mhm.
like you said, they
Yes. Oh, yeah.
it may be someone down there who's like, I don't believe in that, why are you guys doing
Right.
that, and will
Actually,
actually
cousin Edward at the
Yes.
barbecue.
Yeah,
And that's-
Like side eyeing your baby, and you like, if y'all family jump my baby.
Right.
Exactly. You're the outside like perspective.
Exactly.
And I think it's a racing. I think it also has a lot to do, like, and if you look at the LGBTQ community, like when those situations, when you have relationships in that, or if it's a race situation, whatever that non-traditional or what people don't know relationship wise is scary.
Well, and a perfect example of that, I mean, we can use Meghan Markle and her husband, the rest in peace queen, longer than Queen Latifah. But it's,
The only queen we care about is Latifah.
I don't understand why you said queen. You mean Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, whatever. What's she
Oh,
called?
okay.
Elizabeth? Yeah, she's Elizabeth. Yes, okay.
Elizabeth died.
Okay, there you go.
She wasn't my queen.
Beyonce's fine, so there's that.
The first I don't think.
Well,
I don't even ask.
Okay, there we go. Well, the Queen of England, but there was,
Meghan Markle.
yes, Meghan Markle. There was a big thing because the royal family was concerned about if the baby was going to either come out looking black or white, because they are an interracial couple.
Mhm.
So that just goes to show just how deep it is, even within the royal family. You know what I'm saying? So,
And I think too, I do remember my parents saying too, like before they got married, I wonder what will happen if you have kids. What culture will you like? It was just the confusion of culture,
Mhm.
and I think that was something I do remember them kind of saying down, like, well, what culture are they going to raise their future children in? And how are you going to decide whose culture? Is it going to be our culture, that culture? And I think it's just that's also the fear of maybe confusion on the grandkids or just confusion on their part because they just don't know.
and there are some people who are so against. I mean, like with Meghan Markle again. I mean, it got so bad to where they had to move. They moved literally out of England and came to America because the family was putting her through so much.
Right.
So just let people love who the hell they
Love
want
who
to
you
love.
love.
Okay.
Right.
If Becky with the good hair, if that's what you like Becky with the good hair. Okay.
Mhm.
If you like,
I don't think Beyonce would agree with that, sir.
well,
Okay.
It's a good thing. You're right. I hear you. You're saying love who you love.
we love.
Who's loving Becky with the good hair?
Okay. Well, well, if you're single, we're not Jay-Z one single. We're talking about single
Okay.
people.
Sliding into the DM number 4. We are not sliding into those.
We're not talking about Jay-Z, to be honest. We're talking about just regular schmegular people.
Right.
All right. Last question.
And then you go from that to this. Like, how am I going to answer this question?
I
was like,
told
that.
you.
I was like, where are these coming?
This is a bad order. Who picked the order of this?
I literally took the questions that we got.
I what's the order? Because we're
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Answer
Okay.
the question.
Question number 4. This actually came from a white woman.
Yes, I remember.
Hey, white girl, why are black men so good in bed?
So you made me talk about interracial relationships. Now you're asking me why black men are so good in bed. Okay.
Shout out to Bertie.
Thank you. No. Here's what I'm going to say. I am going to say that I can think of a lot of reasons why people would think black men are better than white men in bed. But what I'm going to say is, I'm going to be is this. I can tell you that there are Black men who can't have sex, and I know there are white men who can't have sex, and there are guys who are Latino and Asian that just can't do it. And then there are some people of all races that are just real good at what they do. So I'm just going to say, I don't know what this particular white woman's experience was. It sounds like she had a really good experience with a Black man. And I know that has been, experience that a lot of white women have had. I will say this though about Black men. This is what I will say about Black men. I'm gonna give Black men. Black men are very, very, very attentive to women. And and if you disagree, you can yell at me. I already said the something. We got the something out of the way. I already told you. Where
are you going with this?
No. Yeah, I already told you that there are people who suck of all races. There are people who suck at sex. I'm talking about the ones that are good. I will say that there, comparatively, I have found that a lot more Black men tend to express a little more, I guess, when it comes to that, maybe a little more attractiveness or a little more vocal about what they like, what they are attracted to. A lot of white men don't really say a whole lot about a whole lot. They just kind of
get the job done.
Right.
Well,
so, and I'm not, again, I'm not saying everybody, I'm just saying, because there are a lot of people of all races who cannot have sex or they're not very good.
So what you're saying is that basically Black men, we gonna say what we want.
Tend to be a little more vocal, a little more, I don't know, I don't know the word I'm looking for.
Just vocal about what they want.
Not about even about what they want, vocal about what they like, what they see, what they're attracted to.
Got it.
A little bit more. They're a little less shy. Like, when it comes to certain
things.
I don't know. I guess I think that might.
It sounds like that this white woman had a very good experience.
She had a great experience. I feel like
she wanted an answer.
I was there when this question was asked, and she was very, very excited about her last Black male experience.
Yes, we're not going to tell her business.
We are not, but
she came up to us and was like, "I need to know this answer, like today, tomorrow." And she actually followed our podcast, so she's going to be looking for this.
So
she was like, "What time you guys come on and what episode?" Because I need to follow and listen.
Exactly.
So yes, we love it here.
And I do think when her and I talked about this, we kind of had the same opinion. It was like there's just a lot more vocal, a lot more forward, up front.
Can we say her quote that she said?
You can say whatever you want. I'm going to say.
Well, her quote that she said, the quote. The reason why she was asking this question, she said, because from her experience, she said, Black men love to put their tongue on it and white men don't. Did
you say what my quote was after that? Well, we'll just say this. I don't, going back to my initial situation, that has not been the experience that I've heard of. I've actually feel like I've heard of more white men putting their tongue on things that maybe some of my friends said.
Well, maybe that Black dude she had just really loved.
He just really loved it.
He just really loved.
Again, so we cannot stereotype somebody based on race and their ability to do sexual things.
It's the comfortability.
It's what people like, and he must have really liked that.
All right. Well, that was Ask the White Girl, Miss Amy. Thank you, Miss Amy.
I love them. Please send more.
Oh, well, we film footage, so
I know we got footage.
It's only going to get more intense from here.
And I didn't give my disclaimer too. That I'm just throwing out what I know. I am not the end all be all of white people. And so please do not come at me. I try to express, honestly, a lot of the questions, I'll be real, I don't have the experience that I'm getting questions of, but I do and can speak on people that I know may have. So
our DMs are not open.
Right. And do not come at me. Yes. And I know dick pics, please.
Tip number 5.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you with Ask the White Girl. We got Miss Shay with the shits. And what are you telling us about today? What is your advice?
Red flags.
Ooh, Jesus.
Actually, normally I only do 5, but with this topic, I let my creativity take over because I have so much to say. There are so many, so I couldn't limit myself. So I'm gonna just start at number 1, lack of communication. If someone is emotionally unavailable, that to me is the biggest red flag, because like they say, oh, it takes this long to get to know somebody, and that you never know somebody, even when you do know somebody. I don't care if you've been living with them for 10 years. People change every day. So you just kind of have to pay attention to the red flags. Number 2, hypersexuality. Sex clouds judgment. So if you become sexual with someone too soon, you may feel like you develop feelings that aren't really there. It's infatuation instead of love. Which leads me into number 3, saying I love you too quickly. We didn't, hit the sack one, maybe two times, and here it is. Oh, I love you. I love you. You don't even know me.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot love me. To me, you don't even love yourself.
They might not even know what love
But
is.
that comes with, if I was just like
Yeah.
that, we throw that word, people throw that word around like it's just a word, and it's not.
To me, if they're looking for love, and you know, that's where you're looking for it at when you needed it from your mom or your dad or your uncle.
And a
You
lot
know,
of people
like
mistake lust
for
love.
love. Yes, they can't decipher the difference.
Right.
Okay.
Number two.
Yeah. I'm not even trying to put who resonated that one with me because
Read the book.
yes,
Read the book. Definitely.
Number 4 is being overly controlling what you can and cannot wear, what you can and cannot do, where you can and cannot go, who you can and cannot talk to. That is another huge red flags, which leads into another one. It was number 7, but I'm gonna bump it up to number 5 because it, like she spoke on earlier, or somebody mentioned it. It's called isolation. They want you to feel like you have nobody else, and they want you to feel like they're your everything. So it's a form of, you know, keeping you around. So
Not a
then,
form of love.
yeah, not at all.
Somebody who loves you will want to celebrate your family, your friends, and they'll want to do that with you.
They want to get to know you and
It's
everything
not
that
love.
comes with
That is important for you. Yeah.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Craziness and toxic is not
Not
love.
at all.
Especially if they're smelling your underwear. That's not love.
I'm
That was
yeah.
ex-boyfriend. Okay,
Right.
we're not going there.
And that goes into now, like everything now, for some reason, toxic is like the thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm not understanding it. And being toxic is not okay. People are like, oh, we toxic tonight, or I love toxic love. That is not okay because it seems fun in the beginning, but then when it keeps escalating, it no longer becomes fun. So being toxic is not okay.
If you are
Soul ties.
Honestly,
Right.
proud mommy moment. I have 2 daughters, one who's 17, one who's 13. So my 17-year-old was speaking of something about her relationship. She asked me a question. Here comes my 13-year-old from the back seat. That's toxic. And I'm just like, well, dang, you took the words right out of my, you know, proud mommy moment. I'm glad that at an early age, she knows that that's not appropriate. Like, that's not okay. Like, that's not acceptable, you know. She knows. So
TV has killed.
and, right. And if getting excited about a toxic situation excites you, please talk to somebody.
yeah,
Because that's something that you should really definitely explore.
Absolutely.
For sure.
right. Okay, so then the next one would be lack of trust. If they feel like they have to monitor every move you make, who you're around, who you talk to, what you do and do not say to the same sex or opposite sex, that to me, no, I'm gonna just stop you right there. If I can't go to the club and encourage my friend, oh yeah, dance on him, and you got a problem with me encouraging somebody next to me dance on somebody else, boo boo. No.
And it could be too that they're cheating and they just want to keep on making you feel like you're the one that's
Yes.
That was one of your vocabulary words earlier, which was
Oh yeah.
yes, the whole, you know, making you feel like it's your fault.
Yeah.
Gaslighting and the, yeah.
Yeah, right.
There you go. Okay. The next one would be threatening to leave or leaving with no communication. I think that's a big red flag. If every time you do something instead of communicating, in a relationship does not work without communication. So if every time something goes wrong, their first response is, oh, I'm gonna leave, or this, that, you know, leaving is fine. Let's say we're in a situation to where both of our emotions are high and it's going to lead to physical, then yes, one of us needs to remove ourselves. But if they're threatening to end the whole relationship over a small disagreement or something, a misunderstanding, to me, again, that's another red flag.
There was a relationship that I was in, and there was a lot of fighting like that. And then, you know, one of us liked to walk around behind. I don't do this anymore, but I like to walk around, and we're going to talk about this right now. And the other one's like, I gotta go. And for a while, there was not a whole lot of I gotta go. It was pick up the keys and walk out the door, and then not come back for a while. And then once the agreement was like, listen, you're gonna walk out, cool, take a time out because I might be like following you around the house and yelling. I don't do that anymore. But I just tell me you're leaving. Just say I'm leaving. I'll be back. Because it's that I'll be back that shows you that it's part of that communication. It's not just going to be, I'm doing this to control you, to show you what it's like without me, to make you worry about me. And that,
Or the mind game.
or the mind
You
game.
know that you're really not leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, so I'm wondering, are you out there, like, are you okay? Are you mentally okay? Because then I don't know if this is one of your tips, but you know, threatening to hurt themselves or kill themselves because you're breaking up with them. And, you know, if that's been threatened and now you're leaving and I don't know where you are and what you're doing, that's just, like you said, a lot of mind games.
Right.
If they threatening better them than you, get the hell out early. Because that is a terrible topic. I see people using that like they're taking off clothes. You don't do what I want you to do, I'm gonna kill myself.
Yes.
Or if you don't do what you want me, what I want you to do, then you don't love me. Like, yeah. And I think that's a big one in high school when it comes to young ladies and their virginity and these guys pressuring you for sex. That to me is the biggest one. Oh, if you don't do this, you don't love me. Don't let anybody force you into doing anything you're not comfortable with.
Absolutely.
You're right.
No means no. You said
Period. No means no. And then get
They gonna sit up and they're not gonna do anything but sit up and talk about you.
And once they get what they want, on to the next.
Right.
Don't even remember.
And again, if they loved you, they wouldn't pressure you.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So my final one would be abuse. And this could be psychologically, emotionally, or physically. All of the above. The biggest red flag, get out, get away, do what you need to do to make sure you're safe. Point blank, period. Don't make excuses for chosen behavior.
And when you're playing, fighting, wrestling, if someone is really trying to hurt you, if they're hurting you while you're playing, they're trying to hurt you.
Right.
Oh yeah.
It's not playing.
It's not playing. That means it's time for you to leave.
Right.
Yes.
Because the younger teenage boys, you know, they try to act like they just playing, but then they really hurting you.
Right.
No, you really trying to hurt me for real, because you're trying to make me feel your power. So therefore, cut it off.
The I'm just playing and I'm just joking, I think, has become a very good excuse when we see somebody else who's like
Bad behavior.
uncomfortable. Yeah, and it's serious for sure. And listen to people around you. When you said the emotional abuse, I feel like that's one of those that you may not notice yourself, but everybody else around you, like you had said, everybody else around me said that they saw those red flags, they saw this stuff happening. Listen to those people. That's one thing that I tell my teenagers all the time. If somebody in your life that you care very much about tells you that this is not okay and this is a red flag, this is an abusive situation, please listen to them.
Absolutely.
And everybody is not being a hater.
Right.
Right.
They're not.
No, sometimes they have a different perspective.
Everybody's not being a hater.
Because you're over here with all those chemicals going on in your brain, with all the luster, the infatuation, prevents you from seeing.
Blinders.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So one more I'm gonna add to is, like she said earlier, jealousy. Oh, I don't like that you're bringing too much attention, or you're the life of the party, and I want to be the center of attention, or you're taking too much attention away from me. Jealousy can be another huge red flag. Like, nobody you should be you are in a relationship with should be your competition. Y'all should want to see each other win. So,
And they should want you to dim your light for them.
no, not at all. So.
Period.
Yeah.
All right. So the domestic violence hotline number is 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. Again, if you feel like you're in a situation to where you're being abused and you just don't know how to get out of it, you need somebody to talk to, either call that number, call us here, 419-827-TALK, 8255. You can also text us. His DM, my DM, her DM, and I'm
the
pretty
hotline
sure
too. Mine too.
And then 988, like Miss Amy said,
Text
just
start to 8788.
say it again.
Text the word start to 8788.
Start to 788.
Yeah.
So just let somebody know what's going on.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you, Miss Shay. Miss Shay with the shits. We appreciate you for those red flags. We want to say thank you to Miss Eunique Johnson for coming through. Make sure y'all tap in, get the book, My Unique Journey. Check out her nonprofit page, Uniquely Unique. We had it in the comments, and y'all can still go ahead and check that out. We're going to be back in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're going to have Councilwoman Bernice Williams on the show, which I'm super excited about that. She said she has watched the show before. She said she's excited for your this or that questions.
Oh.
And I was like, look, we're going to just ask you some Councilwoman questions. She was like, no, ask me whatever y'all want to ask.
That's a green light.
You gotta bring up the big ones.
I was like, you know, so can I just ask you, like, is anybody extorting money on city council?
All out there.
And she was just like, no.
I got an answer for you.
I don't want to talk about it right now. Tell me once we go off the air. But she will be on the show in a couple weeks. I'm super excited about that. We'll also have R&B artist Vic Terry, who will be on the show as well too. His new album actually dropped today. So I'm very excited to see him come on in a couple weeks. We'll have some more Ask the White Girl questions, and it's our favorite Friday.
FYFF, okay?
Yes, it is Fuck Your Feelings Friday in a couple weeks, where we get everything off our chest and we say fuck your motherfucking feelings, okay?
Well, you had a mother in there.
Oh shoot, yeah.
Late night. Late night spot.
We hit the late night spot, y'all. So, but we appreciate everybody for tapping in for the season 2 premiere of Mud Talk. This has been exciting. We worked through the technical difficulties. We made it by the grace of God. I've calmed down. I've chilled. I'm good. I'm there, y'all. Woosah, yes. So, but remember, Mud Talk is the only show that keeps you tapped in with the latest in music, news, and fashion straight from the TOL, and the only show that keeps our ears to the streets.
While you grind in the 419.
We will see y'all in 2 weeks, y'all. Deuces.